cosmetics.
Yeah, they specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats,
follow the same path that Danny White is going in, where we want, or the university wants, more of their players, more of their athletes to benefit from this rather than the university itself. And I think that shows two things. One, it shows that the game of NIL is evolving more. And two, it shows that other schools aren't as selfish. They want their players to benefit more. And I think when NIL first got introduced legally, it's been around for a while, but, there was a way to work around it. But once NIL was introduced legally, I feel like you have seen more universities feel like they want to owe their players more. And more of these more of these brands like an Adidas, like a Nike. I mean, hell, it doesn't even have to be clothing brands. It can be a plumbing brand. It can be a clothing brand, or I just said clothing brand, a sneaker brand, a food brand. Like, these companies are going to look for ways to think outside the box. Maybe they only sponsor a golf team, right? Or maybe they sponsor the basketball team. But I think this start, especially with the Tennessee to Adidas switch, that's going to open up way more opportunities for not just athletes here at the University of Tennessee, but athletes throughout the whole country or maybe even playing D3 ball or D2 ball. I think once the ball, keeps on rolling with this, and we see more when we see more athletic programs and universities switch and jump ship, you're going to see NIL fully take place in the way that they will look after these players. And I think it's a great opportunity. And I think Danny White capitalized on a good opportunity at the right time. And when you are an athletic director, when you do oversee an athletic program, you got to capitalize on the opportunities when you have it. And that's exactly what Danny White did. And I'm excited to see how this is all going to play out, because it seems like we're one step in the right direction. You can't take a step back now. But I think it's pretty hard to take a step back when you get a deal that is estimated to be around $20+ million. So really happy for this, and I'm excited to see how the whole NIL circuit's going to unfold.
Yeah. We do apologize for those listening online. Had a little bit of a technical delay with the volume, but happy to hear that we are now loud and clear once again, talking about the NIL effect on the Adidas deal with Tennessee, why it is positive that Adidas has now done this major deal with the Volunteers, and how it's going to affect recruiting and NIL opportunities for players on the roster. And as we said, a trailblazing type move for Danny White to do this, as this is going to be one of the biggest deals in college athletics. And Adidas is now going to have the opportunity, as one of the biggest brands in the country, to pair with recruits and current players of the Tennessee roster, which is a really, really big plus. And it will also be a chance for the sports apparel giant to push the university and their athletes front and center and promote them with marketing opportunities.
Yeah.
That's not lost on athletics. And like Mike Matthews, who's addressed the change to Adidas earlier today, saying, quote, "I love it. They're kind of making us a priority just in terms of football and having us be just the college household name of Adidas Sports. And the connection with Adidas is just major." That's what Mike Matthews had to say, starting wide receiver for the Tennessee Volunteers this upcoming season. And what I make of players now voicing their opinion on this is that, look, you go on Twitter right now, or at least yesterday, it was a little bit of a dumpster fire. There are a lot of people with some strong opinions, and I get it. It's a big-time switch. But the positive thing about this is that the guys in the locker room are on board with this deal. And if those guys are on board with it, I imagine that the future recruits will be as well. Nike is the kind of Apple of sports apparel. Everyone loves it. Everyone uses it. It's kind of the name brand. Adidas is right up there. I think it's more global in terms of soccer on a larger world stage. Mm-hmm. But in terms of United States football, Nike's a little bit more premier. But with the opportunities you have in the NIL world, this will now be an appealing opportunity for some of these young kids. And Mike Matthews talks about that being a priority. A lot of these kids in high school want to be a priority at their next school. They want to be a priority in these NIL deals. They want Adidas to come into their house and say, we want you to be on our team. We want you to be one of the focal points of Adidas football. And I think that's a really big thing and a really big opportunity for Tennessee here over the next couple of years. And even right now, we've got guys on this roster that, let's say Mike Matthews has a breakout season. Here comes Adidas knocking on the door. Hey, let's partner up. Let's make you one of the faces of our brand. As I mentioned earlier, Jeremiah Smith, the best player in college football at a Nike school that is being is giving Ohio State $16.7 million a year. The best player on that team is an Adidas athlete. The opportunities are endless. And I think it's a really big positive that the guys on the current roster are cool with this. They're on board with it. They realize the benefits from this. And Mike Matthews, really good quote today. Tyler, what'd you make of it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of on the more like pro player side. Like I've always kind of been an advocate that players, the players at the university, they're more at risk than the university itself. Tennessee is always going to have a dominant or a popular athletic program. Whereas the players, like I've said for a while now, they're the ones putting their bodies on the line. They're the ones that are bringing a good product to the field. If, Tennessee never brought a good product to the field over the past 4 years, we're not getting Adidas. We're not getting $20 million. So that's where the opportunity for these players, it's how can I say? It's finally the time that they've been waiting for. Like they're getting what they deserved. It's paying off for them is what I should rather say. It's paying off for these players. But as for the quote, I mean, just a chance for these young players to be able to have a massive brand in Adidas, pick them up and show them more priority than what Nike would normally do. Like, I think, one, it obviously creates more opportunities for everyone, and I've been saying that. But I think when you look at players like a Mike Matthews, players like a, why am I blanking?
Jeremiah Smith?
No, not Jeremiah Smith.
Tennessee players?
Yeah, Tennessee, our right tackle, the freshman. Why am I blanking
David
on
Sanders.
David Sanders. I always think Darnell Wright. I have no idea why. That's always the first name that comes into my mind.
Hopefully David Sanders can turn into a Darnell Wright, end up being a first-round pick in the draft.
That would be something. But with Mike Matthews, with David Sanders, like two players that, you could very well see being first-round draft picks in the future, they already have a relationship with Adidas through Tennessee. This could be an opportunity for them. When they get drafted, they stick with Adidas. They are now an independent partner with Adidas. That's way more money. And I think that's where it's valuable because you look at the basketball team too, like Nate Ament, he could stay a partner with Adidas once he gets drafted.
Wow. So Nate Ament right now is with Reebok, and he was actually across the country with Reebok recently. But
interesting.
But maybe you bring in a guy down the road that's not already signed to a deal with a Reebok. And then, hey, you come here, let's get something in the works with Adidas in terms of a basketball shoe or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that's where it can be beneficial for both the ones that, don't have professional playing careers because they're still going to get financial gain from being at this university for however long they're here for. But it gives an even greater opportunity to those who have a career outside of college sports, those who can make the pros, because then maybe this is a relationship that, Adidas values, saying, hey, this is a big reason as to why we signed this deal in the first place with Tennessee, because Mike Matthews is one of the best receivers in the nation. And I'm saying this like hypothetically if this were to happen, but yeah, Mike Matthews is one of the best receivers in the nation. He was a big reason as to why Tennessee beat Georgia at home and they went 10-2 this year and made the college football playoffs. This is a guy that we want to lock up for us because, one, we already know him. We already know him well through this partnership with the school. And two, this is a guy that can be a first or second round draft pick in the NFL. Let's continue to garner this relationship with Mike Matthews and see what it stems from.
Yeah.
And then I think that's where you can really see like this Tennessee Adidas relationship partnership start to grow more, because Mike Matthews is a guy that, if he has a great career here, and I'm not saying he will because I don't know yet.
Well, he's going to have to step up this year.
He's going to have to step up.
I do like that hypothetical you gave off of a possible 10-2 year where Mike Matthews
it's nice,
is
isn't
big,
it?
but there is going to have to be some work done to get to that point. But real quick, and we'll talk about another guy that's a highly touted recruit out of high school.
Yeah, I just think there are a lot of athletes that have come and gone through this university, and Hendon Hooker, Alvin Kamara, those are guys that, have a big name here, and they still come back every game or so. It's like if Mike Matthews becomes one of those really good NFL players, like an Alvin Kamara level. Now that's a big reach, but just a good wide receiver in the NFL, and he continues to be a partner of Adidas, that's only going to, make this relationship better, because now Mike Matthews, a former second-round pick, a player that had, 2,000 total yards and 16 touchdowns at Tennessee, is back, and he's wearing your Adidas merch. That is Tennessee Vol related.
Yeah.
It's like those are small things that could really, really help these two sides grow together, rather than Adidas growing and Tennessee growing.
Yeah.
Not on the same, horizontal axis, but vertically they grow at the same time next to each other. That's when this value of being the most expensive athletic brand under the Adidas name can be beneficial for both sides and for the players.
Yeah, and we appreciate those of you listening on YouTube. Shane Short chimes in and says, finally a show with a good take on this, LOL. We appreciate it, Shane. We appreciate you listening along with us. Look, we talk about a couple of guys on this current roster that could benefit from this. Mike Matthews, a big supporter of the Adidas move, but there are a couple of guys that could be affected by this immediately that aren't even on this Tennessee roster yet. In addition to a lot of other high-profile current players, like a Jeremiah Smith, Adidas also had Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter and Cam Ward last year as Adidas athletes as they headed into the NFL draft. There are also some high school players that Adidas has already partnered with, and one of them is five-star wide receiver Tristan Keys, who's currently committed to LSU. Now, Tennessee's been working very hard to try and flip this guy, and you've already got a little bit of a connection now with Adidas there. And as we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, Tristan Keys is arguably the most likely flip candidate right now in the high school recruiting scheme. And I got told this past weekend that this could actually be happening. This could be coming to fruition. It'd be more likely we don't get him than we do right now as things currently stand. But this is the type of thing that can help recruits like Tristan Keys come over. And I believe that this Adidas partnership is going to make things a lot more intriguing for Tristan Keys to come. Now it's okay that the group you're currently partnered with, Adidas, is now a big-time donor, big-time supporter of Tennessee athletics. Tennessee is fighting like hell to get you on campus. They need a wide receiver. All of the parts are adding up. And I think if there were a moment now where Tristan Keys could be in the right spot to make a flip, I think Tennessee has done everything to be in the right position. So, obviously, Tennessee didn't sign with Adidas to go get Tristan Keys, but these are the type of benefits that can come from this deal. So I suspect that Tristan Keys will probably have a point in time where he either decommits from LSU or moles an opportunity with Tennessee. And we've still got a ton of time before National Signing Day happens. I predict Tristan Keys will probably switch over at some point. I think he'll end up being a Tennessee Vol. Now, LSU has recruited him hard. There's some other schools doing it as well. But I don't think there's another university out there that can say, we're currently partnered or going to be partnered when you're playing for us with the same apparel and sportswear group as you're signed with in Adidas. We've got the biggest deal in the country in college athletics with this current sponsor in Adidas, and no one else can top that. So outside of all those financial things, as we talk about these NIL benefits, you can also be most likely a day one starter at Tennessee next year. A lot of really good opportunities for Tristan Keys. I believe he'll probably end up switching over at some point. But being able to boast being a partner of the company they're signed with is just one more thing that Josh Heupel can use on this recruiting trail.
Yeah.
And whether he's trying to pull in a Keys or other high-profile players to Knoxville, this is a big transfer portal tool. This is a big recruiting tool. And I think this is going to help Adidas. This is going to help Tennessee be able to bring in other recruits and guys that might not look at Tennessee initially and say, actually, I want to give them a look here because of this a deal with Adidas and what it could do for me. It may be selfish on the surface, but you got to realize, folks, we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. When has it never really been about money for some of these kids? I mean, you talk about like a Jaden Rashada, who's now on his 4th team in 3 years. Originally was committed to Florida, signed the national letter of intent. Then something got a little murky at the local dealership. He ends up leaving and goes on the other side of the country to Arizona State. Then he lives there and goes to Georgia. And now he's at Sacramento State rotting away. It's always been about money for these top profile players. And I get it. We would be doing the same thing. If William Patterson were a 5-star quarterback, I'd probably see where I could get some money from, at least temporarily.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh, Tyler, stop it.
No. Here's my thing. Ready?
Oh, God.
If I was a 5-star quarterback, right? Like, let's say I was like an Arch Manning type recruit or a Quinn Ewers type recruit, 5-star, really good quarterback. I would prefer to go to a place where I fit better, can play better, and have a better chance at getting to the NFL because that first NFL contract is nothing compared to NIL.
Okay, that's fine. But how many college players end up going to the NFL?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
It's like less than 2%.
So I'm not saying 5-star Tyler wouldn't be able to make it there, but if you're a high school kid and you've got to play football for 3 to 4 years to make it to the NFL, that's 3 to 4 years of wear and tear, possible injury, anything could happen.
That's a good point.
So if you're a high school recruit right now, if you're a 5-star player, that's the highest valuation you'll get until 3 to 4 years later down the road in the NFL draft process. So while your value's high, you got to cash in. And that's what a lot of these kids do. But again, kind of putting a bow on it here. I'm not a huge fan of Adidas sportswear personally. It's not something I wear often, really at all. I'm a Nike guy. But that's just a personal preference. There are a lot of people that like Adidas. There are a lot of people that like Under Armour, a lot of different deals. Whatever side you're on about it, if you're a Tennessee fan, you've got to be supportive of the move because of what it does for Tennessee as a program, bringing in a ton of money, but also what it is going to do in recruiting these athletes to come to Knoxville. You're already a top program in the country. You're already a great destination to come play football. Neyland Stadium on Saturday is as unique as anything. You've got all the other tools, a great university for an education, everything. You've got all of that. Now you add another little wrinkle, another feather in your cap. If you come here, we got some NIL stuff that you can work with, and it's pretty appealing because it's one of the major sporting apparel groups in the country, in the world, in Adidas. Big-time move for Tennessee. Big-time NIL benefits that come from this. Another great move from Danny White. On the other side, we'll stay in college football, but this time go on a national level. Earlier today, Pete Nakos of On3 talked about Carson Beck, the former Georgia quarterback, now at Miami. In an interview with Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator for the Hurricanes, Dawson said that he believes that Carson Beck could go number 1 in the NFL draft this upcoming season. We'll break it down when we return right here on Overtime, presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
The flagship station for Tennessee fans. This is Fan Run Radio. Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the volunteer state. Smoked daily by pitmaster Mark Rickard. The barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134. For directions and to look at the rest of the menu, visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.
Hello, is Tina there?
Who's this?
Yeah, this is Vince from the hit reality show Wives Don't Tell. Tina applied for our show to confess that her husband won't go to the doctor to get his erectile dysfunction checked. She said she's ready for a guy that can bring the heat.
All right, what the hell is going on? You know you're talking to her husband right now? Tina!
Well, she wrote the application that Unmanned's performance is questionable. She's basically married to a coffee table. She also said, we live within driving distance to Men's Pro Knoxville, but he's too scared to get a blood test.
Oh my, she is done. She is so done.
Gotcha, Mike. It's nephew Tommy. Ain't no reality show. It's a prank. Men's Pro Knoxville is the real deal, fellas. Local experts, test results in minutes. Call 865-544-8220 or hit menspronknoxville.com before your lady books a new co-star. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Yo, 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 what is up with it, homies? Talk sports. That's the show you want. It's the longest running sports radio morning show in town. You want your radio shows to be fun, and that's what Talk Sports is. Fun, fun, fun. No weirdo callers. I like Tennessee. Gonna go 6-6 this year. No nerdy guests. Well, their receiver depth is a little bit thin. Just two of the most entertaining guys in town, and Bubba giving you what you need. Tune in 7 to 10 a.m. every weekday here on Fan Run Radio.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
Me and my niggas trying to get it, you bitch.
All right, back here on Overtime, presented by VIP Play. We appreciate you listening along with us, however you may be doing it, on the free Fan Run Radio app. 1340 AM, that's what it is. 1340 AM, 105.7 FM here in K-Town on the local dial, or on the X/YouTube live stream. Have your listener watching. We do appreciate your time. And if you're on that YouTube live stream, chime in, leave a comment. We'll see it. We'll read it. We appreciate you hanging out with us. All right, let's switch over to college football on a more national scale. As look, Miami lost quite a bit on offense following the 2024 season. Heisman winner Cam Ward has moved on, as have the top 6 leading receivers from last year's squad. A step back on offense would be expected, but there's still quite a bit of optimism about the unit heading into the 2025 campaign. Miami pulled off a major portal move to replace Cam Ward with the addition of former Georgia quarterback Carson Beck. And after a stellar debut season as a starter in 2023, Beck entered 2024 with Heisman hype. I even had him last year as the best quarterback in college football. Now, obviously, last year he did not play to those expectations, but he was overall solid, ranking 12th nationally in QBR, but he also threw 12 interceptions. Turnovers were a little bit of an issue last year, and those were exemplified in that Alabama-Georgia game that had all eyes across college football on it, and including 3 games last year where he had 3 picks or more. So obviously there were some tough games from him, but a change of scenery could be good. Going down to Miami seems to be good for a lot of people. Catching some sun, catching some rays, a new vibe, a new home. But we'll see if it actually does wonders for Beck. But offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson believes it will do wonders for him. As earlier, Pete Nakos of On 3 said that Shannon Dawson believes that Cam Ward might not be the only number 1 pick Miami has. He believes Carson Beck could potentially be the number 1 pick in this year's upcoming 2026 NFL draft. And we'll get into if we believe if Carson Beck can reach these heights. Look, I liked Carson Beck last year, at least heading into the year. I think he's got a strong arm, an NFL-type arm. I think he's got a good frame. I think he's solid at processing information at the line of scrimmage. But there were a couple of times last year where I thought he got a little bit over his skis. That Alabama game, at least in the first half, was brutal. Now, he's much better in the second half. I didn't love the play calling late, and I think that was putting him in a tough situation, especially when he was throwing up a moon ball with 30 seconds left to the goal line. I wasn't a fan of that, but you also have to have good judgment as a quarterback, and sometimes last year I believe that Carson Beck kind of lacked that. But I do think Carson Beck is still a top 10 quarterback in college football. Shannon Dawson had a ton of success last year with Cam Ward, who was strong at Washington State for some moments, but a lot of people forget his second half of the year before transferring to Miami. His second half at Washington State was much different than his first half. Had a string of games where he had a lot of turnovers, was not as efficient. And I'm not saying that Cam Ward and Carson Beck are necessarily comparable in how they play, but I do think Cam Ward was a little bit of a guy that was glazed over because you didn't go see how he played at Washington State because many people weren't tuning into Washington State games. Georgia was always in front of the spotlight, and they should be. They've been one of the best teams in college football over the last 10 years. But you got to see Carson Beck a lot more often than you did Cam Ward. If you saw Cam Ward, it'd be more so on your phone or maybe the highlights on SportsCenter the day after. For Carson Beck, you were most likely watching a lot of Georgia games last year. What I like about this year's team and this year's situation for Carson Beck is that he's got another year under his belt, and he's now in the ACC where you're not going up against as tough of competition. ACC DBs are not the level of SEC DBs. We know that. But I think that Miami's offense proved last year that you can have success. And Cam Ward was a turnover-worthy quarterback, was 36th this upcoming draft class this past draft class, I should say, out of 55 eligible quarterbacks, 36th in turnover-worthy play rate. Cam Ward turned the ball over 9 times last year, 10 times, I believe. Just too shy of what Carson Beck did. And the angle on Cam Ward after that season was, oh, this is one of the best quarterbacks in college football. This guy's going to be the number 1 pick. I don't think Carson Beck will be the number 1 pick, but I do believe his time at Miami could be beneficial and get him back into those mock drafts where he was heading into last year, where many people projected Carson Beck could be a first-round guy. Shannon Dawson has had success with a transfer last year with Ward. They've got to figure out a lot of new wide receivers. I'd look at Josiah Trader and Keelan Martin as 2 guys that could be really impactful for them. Martin, Keelan Marion, I should say, BYU transfer. Josiah Trader, a guy that's coming back from last year's roster, could be really impactful. A couple of nice wide receiver weapons, not as deep as they were last year. Running back has experience, but they don't have a guy like Damian Martinez like they had last year. So I think there could be some positives. I like Dawson's system. I think it'll help that he's now in the ACC as opposed to the SEC. And before these two guys arrived, Cam Ward wasn't the cleanest player at Washington State in the second half of the year. Had a lot of turnovers last year. Carson Beck had a lot of turnovers last season, but is now going into that same situation, kind of with the same background. Now, they're two different players, but Carson Beck, if he's able to fix his turnover issue just a little bit, I think Miami at least should, in a bad ACC, have as much success as they had with Cam Ward last year. Will I think Carson Beck will go number one? No. But I do believe that he could get up to that point where he's back in the conversation of being a first-round draft pick. So in that sense, I can see where Shannon Dawson is coming from. Tyler, when you look at it, what do you make of Carson Beck?
Yeah, I think he's very talented. I mean, he has good size to be an NFL quarterback. He's got enough speed. He's light enough on his feet to where he can be nimble in that sense. And I do think he will have more opportunities to showcase his talent at Miami because you're right. There is not a massive gap, but there's certainly a gap between SEC football and ACC football. I mean, you're going to be going up against Virginia defensive backs and NC State defensive backs. Like it's a completely different league that you're playing in, and you have an opportunity to reestablish yourself as a top quarterback in college football. But I think the most important thing is that he shows enough traits that could get him drafted. Because right now, I think the main reason he transferred is because he was like, all right, I mean, I had an okay year at Georgia. I mean, 28 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Like that's that's a fine ratio in college. 3,500 passing yards. He had a 81 QBR, good for 8th out of qualified quarterbacks in Division I. So he proved that, he can be a good quarterback. But I think going to Miami, retooling, refining your strengths and weaknesses can certainly help. And when I look at Carson Beck, I think there are a lot of intangibles that a lot of quarterbacks don't have. And there are certain things that I look for in a college quarterback to know if they can translate to the NFL. Accuracy necessarily isn't one of them, which is honestly why I think a guy like Shedeur Sanders fell to the 5th round, because he has other issues that, aren't his accuracy. It's his processing. It's his want to try and extend a play when you're not a Lamar Jackson. Like, that's why I think he slid. But with Carson Beck, he has a lightning quick release. He's great on the long ball. Probably one of the best, shot play quarterbacks in college football, in my opinion. Will he be able to do that at Miami with his weapons? I don't know, because I think Georgia's weapons have always been a little bit more dynamic than Miami's.
Well, Georgia last year, I will say, number one in the country in drop passes, did them no favors. But the turnovers, throwing into tight coverages and throwing into bad decisions, it is on Beck. But yeah.
You got to understand the players that you have and trying to fit a pass in a tight window with, what's his name, Arian Smith?
Yeah. Last year?
Yeah, last year.
For Georgia?
Yes, yeah. It wasn't going to work. He's just more of kind of like a polished playmaker in a way that
not a reliable guy either.
Exactly. And when you're trying to fit a ball in cover 2 on a post route, throwing it to Smith, odds are he's not going to have a spectacular catch where he just is stronger and he muscles someone out. But I feel like at Miami he'll be able to play more to his strengths, which is relying on guys to make a play and put the ball in a position to where your receiver can go up there and make a play. And that's where we see a lot of really good quarterbacks out of college, understand that. They establish that chemistry early on. And with Carson Beck, I think he has the ability to do so. He's very comfortable in the pocket. He, isn't one of those guys that is scared to get hit. I think that's very important. I think there are a bunch of players that are scared to get hit. Good college quarterbacks that, when there's a guy 1 foot away from them and you're in your, throwing motion, some guys just hold it and protect themselves. Carson Beck's going to stay in there and he's going to deliver a throw. Sure, it could be an interception, but, 80% of the time, he's probably letting it go because there's someone open. And he knows that if he holds it, he's going to get sacked. So there are certain things with Carson Beck that I like. And I think he has an opportunity to reestablish himself as a top quarterback in college football. However, he's 23 years old, turning 24, I think, before the NFL draft. So he'll be an older quarterback. And I think that could definitely hurt his draft stock. But you see a guy in Cam Ward who's 23 years old go 101. And I know that, it's because there weren't a lot of other really good quarterbacks there. Like if Garrett Nussmeier, right, or Arch Manning were in last year's draft, like you could argue that they'd go Nuss or Manning. But I think with Beck, he just has to limit the turnovers, play to his strengths, and in a weaker ACC than what we've, normally seen, I think he has every opportunity to get drafted in the top 3 rounds at next year's NFL draft.
Yeah, very well so could happen. I'm not, predicting that Beck will be number 1, but I do think there are some similarities from when Ward arrived to now where Carson Beck is. Shane Short chimes in on the YouTube messages. Says Chicks dig the long ball. That is true. If you're accurate, the Chicks would not have digged Nico Imaliava last year. As he liked to throw the long ball, was not accurate on those. But we'll continue here on Miami, as they were ranked number 10 in the AP Top 25 on Monday. Now, we did our overrated, underrated teams like that. I was in the camp that Miami was slightly overrated at number 10. I don't believe they're a top 10 team in the country. I think Miami was right around that level, though. I had them at 12 in my personal rankings. I had them behind Arizona State and Illinois. Miami is a little bit of a question mark because of the weapons you have around Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck could have success. And as I detailed earlier, similar situations. Josiah Trader's a good option at wide receiver. Keelan Marion is a good option at wide receiver. But outside of that, I'm not, amused by a couple of their other guys. And last year, they really relied on having a guy like Xavier Restrepo alongside Cam Ward. And that was a guy that could go get a ball and could go make a play. Running back last year, Damian Martinez. That was a guy that the year before at Oregon State was an 1,000-yard rusher and one of the best players in the conference. Miami's got a couple of veterans coming back this season in that running back room, but not necessarily that bell cow running back that I'm willing to back all the way. So I think Miami is overrated right now. A really, really fun week 1 matchup, by the way, between Notre Dame and the Hurricanes. And I think Notre Dame will, quickly figure out how good they are from last year's team. But I don't like that matchup for Miami because Mario Cristobal has already kind of proven he's not necessarily the best big game coach. Now, at Oregon, he had a little bit of success, but Miami last year lost to Georgia Tech and Syracuse, which were 2 of the better teams in a weak ACC, and weren't able to get it done. All they had to do was beat Syracuse, and they would have been in the ACC championship and most likely in the college football playoff. They couldn't do it. So I don't believe that Notre Dame, a team that was able to march through the college football playoff last year and retains the best running back duo arguably in the country outside of Penn State, plenty of players defensively return, and a quarterback situation that I think will be more modern, I guess is the best word to say. Riley Leonard was great, but Riley Leonard was more of a runner. Whether it's CJ Carr or the other cat they've got, they're going to be throwing the ball a lot more often, which is going to be a little bit of a new wrinkle you're going to see from a Marcus Freeman team, which I think will be pretty tough. So I think Miami loses the first week of the season, but I don't think that's going to necessarily derail their whole year. I think if Carson Beck is able to find that chemistry early on, and as the season goes on, those first couple of weeks, keep in mind Carson Beck coming off that injury from this SEC championship game, hasn't had a ton of opportunity to get involved with his teammates and form that connection. But as the year goes on, by the middle of the season, I think Miami could get in a groove. And if they're able to get in a groove, I believe they could be around this 10, 11, 12 area. But I don't think they're a top 10 team in the country right now. And I stated that earlier on Monday. Carson Beck, not the number one pick in my eyes right now. Could definitely see how he could go towards that trajectory. Miami not a top 10 team right now, but I could definitely see them going towards that trajectory if Carson Beck is able to lower the turnovers just a little bit. When we come back, it's our best plays of the night, our best bets, I should say, presented by VIP Play. Stay right here. It's overtime on Fan Run Radio.
Follow us on Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it these days at Fox Sports Knox, Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Hey, Knoxville. Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Is your smile ready for the spotlight? Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco, and at Knoxville Smiles, we make every visit a reason to smile. From routine cleanings to dazzling cosmetic treatments, our experienced team uses the latest technology to keep your teeth healthy and your smile bright. With a warm, welcoming atmosphere and personalized care, we're here to make sure you leave feeling your best. Don't wait. Your perfect smile is just a call away. Book your appointment today at 865-539-1776 or online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Hey, Pack Rat. Yeah, you. Are you moving cross country and you just don't know who to call? Call us right now. Listen, you've probably seen one of our containers in your neighborhood, but did you know that we can help you move anywhere in the United States? It's real simple. We'll drop a container off at the location you tell us to bring it to. You pack up your valuable possessions at your leisure. They stay safe right in your home. And when you're ready, call us. We'll come and pick up the container and give you a scheduled date of when your furniture and the other possessions will be at your new home. So if you're moving across country or across town, be a Pack Rat. Join the Pack Rat family. Call Pack Rat right now for your free quote. See y'all later, Pack Rats.
Call 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. That's 800-965-1298.
Presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me.
All right, back here on Overtime, presented by VIP Play. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Now time for our best bets of the night, presented by VIP Play. Go claim your VIP Play welcome bonus. When you make your first bet of $5 or more, you'll get $100 instantly in bonus bets by using the code FANRUN. That's FANRUN in all caps to claim those bonus bets, and new and more convenient deposit and withdrawal methods are coming soon, so the next VIP Play app update will continue to upgrade the betting experience. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 years or older and located in Tennessee to bet. We'll swing it over to Tyler with our best bets of the night.
Got one play today. MLB bet coming off a nice 2-0 day yesterday. Orioles plus 1.5. They hit a walk-off double. Jackson Holiday, their first walk-off of the season. They were the only team that hadn't gotten a walk-off to win the game. They finally did it. The money line would have been nice, but stuck with the plus 1.5 that hit. And then we also had Astros money line that hit. They won 5-1. So today, staying with MLB, not a great slate on the later end of the day because a lot of games today were played during the day. It's usually how the MLB does things on Thursdays. But I'm looking at this Detroit Tigers and Minnesota Twins game, and I'm eyeing Tigers minus 1.5. The Tigers are 70-52, one of the better teams in baseball. However, in the second half, they haven't been playing their best baseball. However, they're winners of 3 of their last 4 games, and they're facing the Minnesota Twins, a team that has struggled since they traded away half of their team on July 31st at the trade deadline. Tigers, Twins, Tarek Skubal versus Bailey Ober. And if you listen to the show, especially when Max was here, we talked a lot about Tarek Skubal. I think Skubal is the best pitcher in baseball, but for Max's sake, I'll say he's the second best behind Paul Skeens. But Skubal this year is 11-3 with a 2.35 ERA, a whip below 1, 141 in the third innings pitched, 187 strikeouts, only giving up 12 home runs on the year. This is one of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best. Anytime he's pitching for the Tigers, I always like their value. They're minus 205 on the money line, but with the way that the Tigers hit around the Twin starter, Bailey Ober, I like this Tigers offense to manufacture some base runners and drive them in early. The top 7 of the Tigers order found a lot of success against Twin starter today, Bailey Ober. Colt Keith, 4 for 13 in his career. Gleyber Torres, 333 batting average in his career. Riley Green, 313 batting average in his career. Spencer Torkelson, a home run, 4 hits against Bailey Ober in his career. Zach McKinstry, 7 for 16 with 3 RBIs, good for a 438 batting average against Ober in his career. And then I look at this Twins team and how they face Tarek Skubal, and their best hitters cannot seem to figure him out. Byron Buxton, 2 for 15 with 8 strikeouts against Skubal in his career. Ryan Jeffers, 1 for 21 with 9 strikeouts in his career against Skubal. Those are their 2 best hitters right now. They cannot figure out Skubal. So for that reason, I'm going to go here. Spread Detroit Tigers at minus 1.5. Good for minus 125 odds here. That game's starting at 7:40. So you got a little bit of time if you want to, ponder on my thoughts with that. But only play of the day, Tigers minus 1.5, starting at 7:40. Hoping to go, 3-0 over my next 2 and build some momentum into tomorrow's show.
All right, good stuff. Those are our best bets of the night presented by VIP Play. Go claim those bonus bets by using the code FANRUN. That's all caps FANRUN to claim those bonus bets. New and more improved, I should say. Betting options and withdrawal deposits are coming soon, so make sure you check the VIP Play app daily. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 years or older and located in Tennessee to bet. When we come back on the other side, we'll talk college football. Who's the best quarterback in this year's game? Who's overrated? Who's underrated? We'll break that down and also take a look at the most valuable acquisition in the NFL from the offseason. We'll break it down on the other side. Stay right here. It's overtime on Fan Run Radio.
You're locked onto Fan Run Radio, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and online at fanrunradio.com.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
Ever been the coach who realized the team's gear just wasn't up to par? Well, if I'm being honest, that was me. Just a downright irresponsible and plain bad coach. Then, SM Athletics changed the game. I want you to picture this. I walk into their store, a coach with a vision. SM Athletics didn't just see a coach. They saw a team's potential, and they delivered custom uniforms so striking. Our team's spirit soared. From cutting-edge apparel to top-notch equipment, SM Athletics transformed our presence. No more unreliable online orders or envying the other team's style. SM Athletics stands for quality, design, and on-time delivery every time. Coaches, elevate your team with SM Athletics. Call 865-966-3434 or visit smathletics.com. Get the best for your team, delivered right and on time. So, elevate your team's game by contacting SM Athletics today.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance. Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
Doctors take Field of Greens for their own health. Here's Dr. Ryan Green to explain.
We're like you, too much fast food and not enough exercise. That's why I take Field of Greens. The fruits and vegetables in Field of Greens support my heart, lungs, kidneys, and metabolism for weight loss. And Field of Greens promises your doctor will notice your improved health or your money back.
Get 15% off with promo code RADIO at fieldofgreens.com. That's promo code RADIO at fieldofgreens.com. Product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey Knoxville! Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
The buzzer has sounded. We are headed to overtime with William Pattison on Fox Sports Knoxville. This is Fan Run Radio.
Here we go. Hour number 2 on a Thursday, live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. It's overtime, presented by VIP Play. We appreciate you listening along with us. Tyler Barbaras, Jeremy Inslee in the house for hour number 2.
Yo.
And I'm William Pattison. We appreciate the time. All right, plenty to cover in hour number 2, including the top of the crop in college football. We'll take a look at the best quarterbacks, the most underrated quarterbacks, the most overrated quarterbacks in college football heading into the new year. A little bit later on, we'll take a look at the most impactful offseason acquisition in the NFL this offseason. Who is it? We'll tell you. And we'll have our final thoughts. Yesterday, our final thoughts were about traffic in Knoxville. And that ruffled some feathers, at least in here. Not between us, by the way, just between the other drivers in the world. But plenty to cover in hour number 2. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Let's dive right into it. Earlier, we talked about Carson Beck. And while Carson Beck might not end up going number 1 like Shannon Dawson projects, he might be up there in the class, but he is definitely a top 10 quarterback in college football. But there are plenty of quarterbacks that could live up to those expectations of being among the best. And this year is going to feature a loaded class of quarterbacks across the country, and the fight for the number 1 spot is up for debate. So today we'll begin with our best quarterback in college football, and then move on over to the overrated, the underrated, some of the other guys you might not know about that you need to know about. So, look, I've got a couple of different options here. Cade Klubnik is my guy, and that's who I believe is the best quarterback in college football. Cade Klubnik has had a very interesting ride through college football, if you will. He was a 5-star coming out of high school and kind of got thrown into the fire I guess it was his freshman year. It was that Orange Bowl where Tennessee played him, and Joe Milton dazzled in that game. But Klubnik had a tough sophomore campaign. Last year as a junior was much, much improved. He jumped all the way from 102 in his sophomore season to 5th last year in total in PFF grade in terms of quarterbacks. A huge jump. And heading into this year, he's got all the tools to have success. TJ Moore, Bryant Wesco, Antonio Williams, one of the best wide receivers in the country, a good offensive line, a very talented defense. This is a group that returns overall 16 total starting players from last year. All the tools are in place for Cade Klubnik to be good. Go look at the tape against Texas last year in the college football playoff. Yes, it was a loss for Clemson, but Cade Klubnik was dazzling in that game. On time with his throws, on the move, escaping the pocket, a good read every time. That was one of Cade Klubnik's, arguably one of his best games of last season on the biggest stage against a team that made it all the way to the Final Four in the college football playoffs last year. Klubnik is not only a great passer, but he's also really good with his legs. Had a couple of big moments last year where he's able to use his legs for big plays and touchdowns. He busted up a 50-yard run right through the teeth of the NC State defense early in the season. He's a guy that has shown time and time again that you can contain him for a little bit, but once he gets creative, goes off script, is when he can also flourish. Great quarterbacks, to me, have to be able to go off script. If you're a guy that's only a 1-2-3 read guy, your ceiling will be limited. But if you're a guy that can go off script, think of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, the Patrick Mahomes of the world, the Josh Allens, the Joe Burrows, the Lamar Jacksons of the world. They can go off script and make plays. Cade Klubnik can do that. And the year 2 to year 3 jump was very impressive. Now what can he do from year 3 to year 4? A great team around him, great in the pocket, really accurate down the field, makes the right decisions, can work off script. Cade Klubnik, ladies and gentlemen, the best quarterback in the country in my eyes. Jeremy, getting you in the action now. A lot of quarterbacks out there. I hope and pray that you do not use that team that you love to refer to and say this is going to be Ty Simpson, the best quarterback, best quarterback in your eyes.
No. I'm not that much of a biased person. You actually got to do something on the field and with a good amount of work to get consideration. But I'm actually going to go Drew Aller with this. He's always stayed around basically a 67% completion percentage. Super high QB rating, over 150. He threw for over 3,300 yards last year with 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That could definitely be a little bit better. But you're talking about a senior coming into what should be hopefully a championship run for them, coach dependent, most likely. But Drew Aller, to me, from what I've seen, he's been a very consistent college quarterback. During his time at Penn State. Of course, having the addition of a Tyler Warren, who is basically a weapon X out on the field, definitely helps out. But I believe with what you get from his leadership standpoint, his savviness in the pocket, his calmness that he brings to the team, like, in times of trouble like that, and then his ability to also go off script with plays and stuff too. I mean, no more apparent than I believe their game against Notre Dame in the playoffs. Like, although they lost, I mean, he showed you that he can somewhat put on that cape and deliver, when you need him to. So Drew Aller for me is definitely probably the best quarterback heading into this season.
Yeah, and the thing with Drew Aller is this. It was great in the regular season, 73.7% completion rate, 169.7 efficiency rating. Those are both really strong numbers, much improved from what he was his sophomore year. And I think Aller is another prototypical NFL build. He's big, is what I was trying to get out. He's big. I love the size at 6'5". Last year in the college football playoffs, I thought he struggled a little bit. There was a little bit of a backseat to what he did in the regular season. Did not even top 60% in terms of completion percentages. But that was his first time on the big stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that experience now, kind of that taste, that sour taste in your mouth of that bad interception against Notre Dame. You now follow up a really strong regular season campaign, have that taste in the mouth from a bad play against Notre Dame. Keep in mind, Penn State was in that game, probably should have won it if you're just judging off the first half.
Yeah.
And now you bring that into your senior season where you're going to be one of the top NFL candidates. And with everything he brings to the table in terms of size and speed and arm skill, I think he's a guy that is definitely towards the top. I had him at number 3 in my rankings. But Aller, I think, there's a consensus about him that a lot of people will throw him in these conversations as a top guy, and I agree. But there's some people, they'll be like, oh my gosh, Drew Aller, no. How could Drew Aller be a top quarterback? And I used to give Drew Aller a lot of strays. I used to be one of those guys about a year ago. I used to say Drew Aller can't hit a side of a barn. But last year he proved me wrong in the regular season, was very accurate. And Andy Kotelnicki has done a great job with him as the offensive coordinator. No Tyler Warren this year.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the type of receivers that Aller had to work with last year, I mean, you got to give him a little bit of grace. I mean, Penn State's top 6 wide receivers combined for 102 catches. Tyler Warren caught 104 on his own. So it says a lot about Tyler Warren, how good he is. It also just shows the receivers weren't that strong last year. So this year they go out in the portal. Kyron Hudson from USC, Trevor Penna from Syracuse, and then you've got Devontae Ross from Troy. I think that Aller now has a good group around him. The tight ends will be, something they've got to workshop through the year to try to find that next Tyler Warren. But this is a better weaponry, and I think Drew Aller, I should say. Drew Aller will be just fine this year and be right up towards the top once again of one of the best quarterbacks in college football. I like that take, Jeremy. Tyler, I was trying to get your name out and was thinking of Drew Aller, and I was flipping him up. Tyler, not Drew Aller.
I could be.
Well, no.
I could throw the ball.
Probably not like Drew Aller, but who's your best quarterback? Is it Drew Aller, Cade Klubnik, or you got another option?
It's not one of those guys. It's a player that I've been high on all year. That's Lenore Sellers. I think with his age, he's young. He still has so much room to grow. Like, this is a guy that was a true freshman last year. And now in his second full season, you see this guy already emerging as a potential top 5 quarterback in college football. Running it back with South Carolina, a team that has lofty expectations. This is a guy that has the body of like a defensive end or like an edge rusher. And he's impossible to take down. We saw strides throughout the course of last season to where he became a little bit more of a polished passer. And the one thing with quarterbacks like Lenore Sellers are you have to understand when you have to stand the pocket and deliver a throw, but you also have to understand you have a God-gifted ability with your legs. You got to be able to abuse that. And with the way that college football and the NFL has evolved over the past 5-10 years, these mobile quarterbacks it's such a luxury to have. And this is why a lot of, the DJ Lagways of the world, the Bryce Underwoods, the Julian Sains, like they can all move. And this is why you see those guys getting that 5-star title in high school. Lenore Sellers, in my opinion, he's a very raw passer, but his upside for this season is so hard to not look at. And this is a guy that if he does become a smidge more of a polished passer to where he goes through his read progressions more, his A read isn't there. All right, let me go to B. Like if he can pick up on those things quicker, and then if he's like, all right, my second read's not there, then I'm going to glance at my third. If not, I'm taking off. That's when a player can be so difficult to stop and even to contain. Lenore Sellers is a player that all these SEC teams know they're not going to be able to stop. You're just going to have to contain him because of how dynamic he is. This is a guy that can go through read progression better, connect on those deep balls that we were talking about last week, William. I think he by far is going to be the best college football quarterback this upcoming season. Now, yes, I know he has to, a lot of these things are by far, because my thing too is like, I haven't been blown away by a quarterback really since Caleb, and I still thought Jaden Daniels was more impressive in college. Like we haven't seen a quarterback of this archetype dominate as much in college since like a Cam Newton. And I think, not discrediting what Cam's done, but if he puts it together like how Cam Newton did in college, he's going to have a Cam Newton caliber season.
So let me get you straight here. Lenora Sellers has already dominated before or he will dominate this
No.
season?
I'm saying, and I said if multiple times because there's still some things that I don't know if he's going to improve at.
Justin Herbert reference. If.
Exactly. If man. And Lenora Sellers won't be an if man. You know what you have in him already.
Well, actually, Tyler, I'd push back. I don't know if he's a good passer down the field.
Right. But my point is like we're predicting our best quarterbacks for next season. Or
For this season, yes.
This upcoming season. If Lenore Sellers, like I said, if he can go through his progressions better and then take off after the second or third option isn't there, that makes you better already. Jeremy, you know that. That makes you better already. And like you see, NFL quarterbacks get drafted, and I hate always referring to Lamar, but Lamar was a guy that struggled to go through his progressions at Louisville, but because of his ability to be accurate and use his legs when he had to and when he felt like it was an advantage, that's when he thrived, and that's why he won the Heisman. That's why he was regarded as the best quarterback in football that year, because he understood his game. Lenore Sellers has all of the raw talent in the world. He can throw the ball 65 yards down the field on a rope. He's 6'3", 240. This is a guy that if literally he can go through his reads better, and if he can just develop a little more as a passer, if he can just be more accurate, the accuracy is what holds him back, and his read progression.
So you think right now going into this season, he's the best quarterback?
No. The question was who's the best yeah. No.
That was the question.
That's fair. I think he has everything. Like,
so are you projecting he will be
together,
the best quarterback at the end of the year?
That's what I'm saying, because I do believe in Lenore Sellers a lot. Right now, it's hard to compare him to like a Nussmeier or Klubnik because they're way more developed as a passer than he is. And I guess I misinterpreted the question, but I love giving Lenore Sellers love because I think he's going to be awesome.
Okay.
So if this guy is able to do a couple things, and he was still a okay passer last year, wasn't good, wasn't great, he was okay. But when you have legs to make up for it, like that 40-yard touchdown run that he had against Clemson was like, that's Superman right there, man.
It was like 20, but I mean, it was still a good play. I'll give you that. It was still a good play. And I like Lenora Sellers. I believe he's top 10. And I know you're on South Carolina this year. I know you're on Lenora Sellers. But I'm not doing my job if I don't push back here.
No, sure. I want to hear it.
He's still got there's still a lot more growth to be had for him.
Yeah.
As an athlete, I mean, he's a really good runner. I think he's got good vision, in that sense. But he was next to Rocket Sanders last year, which I think benefited him. Do Rasul Faison and Oscar Attaway III give that same type of running back production this year? Is he going to fix his deep ball? He's going to be more accurate. I think that I'm not totally off on your Cam Newton comparison, but I think this is the year where we figure out is Lenore. Hold on.
Okay.
Because I'm saying this year is the year we figure out, is he Cam Newton or is he Anthony Richardson?
Ooh.
This is the type of year we see.
Why are we discrediting what Anthony Richardson did in college? He was still a 4th overall pick.
And that
saying like
that hasn't gone anywhere.
Well, you're saying what he is now, but
this is the year
quarterback.
If he plays the full year, you have year 2 is the big jump for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to reach the heights of a Cam Newton. Let's say, at least in a college perspective, he's a Josh Allen in college. This is the year that Sellers determines, am I a Josh Allen at Wyoming or am I an Anthony Richardson at Florida?
I disagree with that because I think that there are a lot of quarterbacks that are late bloomers. Like there are so many, like Drew Allar. Like I wasn't that impressed with him last year. I'm going to be completely honest. I wasn't that impressed with him. He's going to his junior year. Like this is the year that he has to put it all together because he's 1 year, like this year, then he's draft eligible.
He's completed 74% of his passes last year.
Sure. When you're playing at Penn State, it's quite simple. I think he's
still a Big Ten school.
No,
playing at Penn State.
No, I agree.
He's not playing like Delaware.
Just listen. He makes good throws. He's always made great throws, but I still think that because one, I think the quarterbacks coming into this year, like the top 3 guys, it's weaker than previous years. So a guy like Drew Allar, in my opinion,
weaker. This is a much stronger class than last
year. Yeah, no, I agree with last year. But last year we were also predicting Drew Allar to be a top 5 quarterback, top 3 quarterback. I don't think he was. But it's like now that some guys fizzle out, he bumps into that top 3. But I'm saying I think there's a guy like a Lenore Sellers who, one, has way more room to grow than Drew Allar. 2, I also think Lenore Sellers does grow this year more than Drew Allar will grow this year. Like, that's where I'm comparing things.
So you're going off of potential.
Not
well, sure, he has
not
to be.
mainly, but
you
yeah.
have to be going off potential because he hadn't.
Not all of it.
He didn't even play all of last year.
Yeah, but you just said it yourself. Lenoris is still a top 10 quarterback.
He is still a top 10 quarterback.
I don't
but
think
he's like 8 behind. I mean, like DJ Lagway's better than him. I think Arch Manning's better than him. And those are just out of the young crop of guys.
I don't think the jump from Allar, who was like a top 3 regarded to some people. Where would you put Allar?
Allar is pretty much a consensus top 3 guy.
Okay, so I don't think there's that big of a jump from the number 8 quarterback in the country to Drew Allar. Like, I think DJ Lagway and Lenore Sellers are closer to being better than Drew Allar and being in that top 3 conversation than they are to being not a top 10 quarterback.
Well, those guys are just more established. I mean, Drew Allar was a quarterback on a team that was in the, top 4 of the college football playoff last year.
Sure, but I mean, like, so was a Kevin Jennings. Like,
but
he was also in the college football
and
playoff.
Kevin Jennings' team got
they
waxed
got
by
whooped,
Penn
right.
State because Kevin Jennings threw 5 turnovers in 2 combined games in the final game of the season against competent opponents.
Right. I'm just saying the fall off, like John Mateer, like where would you put John Mateer? Do you think he's top 5?
Not top 5. He's top 10 though.
Right. I think that those guys, John Mateer, Lenore Sellers, those guys are closer to being a top 3 quarterback than they are like a 15 to 20 range quarterback. Like, you know how,
because they're top 10.
Right. But my point is, like, you know how there are some scenarios where it's like LeBron James or like
what you're saying is that between 3 to 10, there's not much disparity. That's what you're really getting.
Yes. I think all those players are very, very
interchangeable.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Okay.
And I think that Drew Allar is a guy that should be in that interchangeable category, which means me saying a guy, like, if it were to come here and say Lagway is going to be the best, I think that's because a lot of the quarterbacks this year, most of the quarterbacks this year, outside of maybe 2, Nussmeier and Klubnik, are interchangeable.
Okay. I mean, I can get around it. I just don't, right now, heading into this year, I don't think there's anywhere else Sellers is 1. At the end of the year, I could see it if he has an impressive year, but he's got to get better with his deep ball, and he's got to stay healthy. That was a little bit of an issue last year, but I mean, I
flipped your question a little bit. Like, I was like, who's the best?
You probably should have said that before you got into it.
I probably should have,
because you might be the first person I've heard to say Sellers 1. But if you're basing off potential, I can get around it. I did my rankings based off that as well, and that's why I had like an Arch Manning at number 4. Like,
right.
I believe that at the end of the year he'll be really, really good. But also I'm high on these veteran guys that have continued to get better. Klubnik, Nussmeier, Allar, I think is the top 3, and I think everything else is you're basing off of potential and what they could be. Jeremy, what do you make of it?
I really have to agree. Because for all the reasons that you said is why you can't put him so high, because there are so many things that he has to work on, and there's so many things last year that he showed you that he still needs growth in, as to why you can't put him up that high, which is, for me, I think Lenore Sellers will fall better in the category of coming into the season as underrated. Like, he has a skill, he has the ability, but now can he start putting it together more and build upon it? So that's why I would give him more of an underrated billing coming into the season.
You had a little bit of pushback when I said that this year is kind of the determinant of, is he Josh Allen or is he an Anthony Richardson? You didn't like that. Why?
Because I think with Anthony Richardson, we got so caught up in how it looked, the ability, the off script plays, the freakish athleticism that he had,
the flashiness.
Yeah, the flashiness of his play, that we kind of got away from him missing reads inaccurate on some throws and things like that. And I believe that if we try to go ahead and push Lenore Sellers that way, then we're limiting what he can be actually. And the Josh Allen, I can't. Well, I gotta admit, I don't really know too much about Josh Allen at Wyoming. Of course, being down here.
Yeah, he was to explain it. Josh Allen, Wyoming, was similar to Richardson in the sense of a lot of hero ball throws, a lot of deep shots, but he did it a little bit more gracefully. For Richardson, there were a lot of bumps down the road. And I liked Richardson coming out of college. I think there were a lot of highlight plays, but the accuracy down the field was continued to be an issue. He could get it down there. Would he get it to the quarter or would he get it to the wide receiver was an issue. And we saw a little bit of that from Sellers last season.
Yeah, and I think when you think about these two, Lenore Sellers, I think, runs with more power behind his pads. I mean, so does Anthony Richardson, but I believe he's a little bit more shifty of a runner more so than what Sellers is. I mean,
Sellers he's a Mack truck.
Yeah,
like he'll run through you.
He'll run completely through you. And so I think that difference right there kind of had me a little bit rattled. But if Sellers, like he mentioned, if Sellers can come into the season showing growth in the passing game, then that's where he can separate himself from possibly getting that tag of being like an Anthony Richardson, because you now have to look at what Anthony Richardson has done in his time in the NFL, and coming in, not having the amount of play time that's really needed in college to hopefully translate to the NFL. I mean, that's something that has to be looked at. I mean, now coaches and GMs are looking at, okay, do we want a super highly talented athlete that's a project, or do we need to go back to the drawing board and go back to basics and get somebody who's a little bit more polished coming out? So that's why I would give pushback, because if I'm Lenore Sellers, I'm like, kind of miss me with that AR talk.
Yeah.
Kinda miss
He
me.
can be
I
so
get it.
much more.
Yeah,
I get
exactly.
it. No, I get it. I think all of this is just kind of opinionated right now.
Yeah.
A lot of talk right now. We'll get to see what they can actually do here in a couple of weeks. We ended up going a little bit longer on that best quarterback conversation, but I think that was beneficial as well. Some good discourse. There are a couple of different guys I could say for underrated or overrated. I'll spare you and not do my overrated one.
Yeah.
I'll do
You know what I was going to say, right?
Yeah,
you knew what I was going to say, right?
some context clues.
He can't
there,
be
Jeremy.
overrated if he hasn't had time to show what he can do. Okay, but anyway, but it's okay. We'll save it for another day. We'll save it after week 1.
Jeremy, I said I was sparing you.
I know.
I said I was sparing you. Underrated guy, Sawyer Robertson from Baylor. I'm really high on this guy. Was one of the best signal callers in college football last year that you didn't know about. Has an offensive line that's going to be one of the best units in the Big 12 this season. Cam Williams comes back at wide receiver, a former walk-on that had 10 touchdowns last year. Really, really good wide receiver. A good back next to him as well, and Bryce Washington. Baylor's going to be a good team. Sawyer Robertson's going to be a big reason why. Transferred from Mississippi State a couple of years ago, and last year did not start the first 2 games. Ended up having a really, really strong season. Sawyer Robertson of Baylor, a big reason why I believe the Bears can make it to the Big 12 championship. An underrated guy to watch for. Got a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes left real quick. About 45 seconds for your underrated guy or an overrated guy. Take your pick.
I'll go underrated. I'm gonna go with Arkansas, Taylor Green.
Okay, I like that one.
I believe he's a player that if he can stay healthy, of course. Man, I mean, I think the sky's the limit with this kid. Definitely needs to get better. I think more so with downfield throws and possibly looking off DBs and stuff to throw into better windows and things like that. But a darn good athlete, has good downfield vision when he escapes the pocket to actually trying to find downfield throws and things like that. I mean, if he can just take the next step at getting timing with his throws, I think you'll see him end up being someone who keeps Arkansas maybe not championship contention, but maybe by week 8, week 9, we could be talking about Arkansas possibly being a playoff threat.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, I like everything but the playoff threat. But I do like Taylor Green.
Yeah.
Taylor Green is good. Was a very unique player in terms of his running ability, kind of similar to Lenora Sellers, but I'd say Lenora Sellers is a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I do like Taylon Green, though.
I want to take this time to crap on Diego Pavia real quick, just for fun. This is a guy that isn't accurate. He's fun. He's energetic. He has a dog to him, which I appreciate, and I can quite honestly respect it. This is a guy that only once attempted 30 or more, or excuse me, twice last season, 3 times. I'm blind. 3 times last year, he attempted 30 or more passes. Most of the time, this is a guy that's only going to throw the ball 20 times. And sometimes it's less than that. Sometimes it's a hair more than that. But he had a 59.4% completion percentage last year. That's not going to work at Vanderbilt. You can have the best mentality ever, but when you're playing SEC football, you need to have talent. Not saying this guy doesn't have any talent, but towards the back end of the season, when this team was a 6-3 football team, you got smoked against South Carolina in a game where you go 16 for 31, 50% completion rate, no touchdowns. Game after that, you go to Death Valley, you're 13 for 24, 54% completion rate. Against Tennessee, you get handed a 14-0 lead. And what do you do that game? You go 8 for 17 with 104 yards and 1 touchdown. And if you guys watch that SEC documentary, oh, they were hyped. Let's go beat Tennessee. Let's go ruin their season. Pavia was like, I can't wait to beat Tennessee. What does he do? Completes 8 passes. If this is the type of quarterback that we're going to see to start this year, yeah, cool. Congrats. You beat Alabama. You threw the ball 20 times. Like, if this is the Pavia that we see to start the season, the same guy that we saw towards the back end of the season, Vanderbilt, once again, is going to be bottom feeders of the SEC. And I have a little bit of hope that, maybe they can be solid, but not if your quarterback's playing like how we did to end the year.
Talking season's fun for us being on the radio. Talking season has been brutal for Diego Pavia with all of the sound bites that he has created over the last couple of months. He's got about every team on his schedule.
What a dweeb.
With some bulletin board material.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too. I mean, after they beat us, it was just like, all right, now you're on everybody's schedule. I mean, now you're looked at by everybody.
You got a green light on you now.
Yeah, so.
And folks, I'll remind you, when he says us, he's talking about Alabama. Tennessee was able to handle business against Vanderbilt, unlike Alabama last year.
That is okay, but that is okay.
I can see the pain through your eyes.
Yeah, that is okay. But, yeah, now once he was able to pull that out of the rabbit's hat. I mean, yeah, like you said, you're green lighted. Now everybody has their antennas up, and now when they walk into you walk into their house. Hey, we're not about to get Alabama. That's basically what everybody said at the back half of the season.
Yeah.
So now Vanderbilt has to take that and see what they can do, but it ain't going to go anywhere.
Diego Pavia done a lot of talking this summer. We'll see if he's able to back it up when the college football season begins. When we come back, we'll switch over to the NFL. Who was the most impactful acquisition in the offseason? We'll tell you who when we return right here on Overtime, presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
Big Orange Country's home for sports. This is Fan Run Radio.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
Hello, is Tina there?
Who's this?
Yeah, this is Vince from the hit reality show Wives Don't Tell. Tina applied for our show to confess that her husband won't go to the doctor to get his erectile dysfunction checked. She said she's ready for a guy that can bring the heat.
All right, what the hell is going on? You know you're talking to her husband right now? Tina!
Well, she wrote the application that her man's performance is questionable. She's basically married to a coffee table. She also said, we live within driving distance to Men's Pro Knoxville, but he's too scared to get a blood test.
Oh my, she is done. She is so done.
Got you, Mike. It's nephew Tommy. Ain't no reality show. It's a prank. Men's Pro Knoxville is the real deal, fellas. Local experts, test results in minutes. Call 865-544-8220 or hit menspronknoxville.com before your lady books a new co-star. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
Citizens National Bank. There are always memories to be made with family and friends, and we want you to share your memories with us. Share your best photos depicting your memorable experiences throughout the year, and your photo could be chosen to be in our 2019 Memories Calendar. Simply upload your photo to CMB's Facebook page's photo contest application or deliver it to any branch.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Visit cmbtn.com for official contest rules.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game, Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Yeah, buddy, rolling like a big shot. Escalade, tuned up, NASCAR pit stop. Diamonds in my mouth. I don't even need a wristwatch saying that you got it. You can fuck around and get it.
All right, back here on Overtime. We appreciate you hanging out with us, whether it be on the free Fan Run Radio app, 105.7 FM or 1340 AM on the local dial, or on the X/YouTube live stream. Hello, everyone out there watching on there. Make sure you're tuning in to using, I should say, the message board, typing in your comments, whatever you want to say. We'll read it live on air, get you involved in the action. We'll switch over to the NFL as week 2 of the NFL preseason is on the horizon, and we are at the point now where we have a firm grasp of what this year's rosters will look like. There have been plenty of rookies that have impressed throughout the summer, and newly added talent has added a boost to various rosters. Today, we will pinpoint and analyze the best off-season acquisitions in the NFL. I'm going to swing it to you guys first. Interested to see your opinion on this, and I'll give mine. Jeremy, beginning with you. The best off-season acquisition in the NFL was blank.
This is going to sound weird, probably for a lot of people, but I'm actually going to go Justin Fields.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go Justin Fields with this one. I believe for the Jets to try to stay relevant, for them to stay competitive without trying to break the bank at paying a QB. For right now, you're talking about you still got Garrett Wilson, you still got Breece Hall at running back, you still got a young defense, Sauce Gardner in the secondary and things like that. So I believe Justin Fields can come in. I mean, he showed that he can really not mess up a game. Now, is he going to necessarily do the things to propel you to win? Probably not. That's what this year, hopefully he will show for the Jets, that he can take a step forward, because even though he was able to go 4-2 with the Steelers with the 6 starts that he had last year, a lot of field goals, good play by the defense early on, but watching him, you kind of got the sense that he was playing not to lose. He really wasn't playing to win. He was playing not to lose, just trying to make sure that he was hopefully securing a spot with the team. So with that, hopefully they giving him the reins and the confidence to go out there and play at his optimal ability. And I think that he can do what's necessary to make this team competitive. I mean, because you're still talking about the Bills being the favorite in the division, and I think that they are right there fighting with the Patriots and the Dolphins for that number 2 spot. I mean, So I think this should be a good move for the Jets coming into the season.
Yeah, good young defense. Aaron
Yeah.
Glenn will take over that group, the former defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Justin Fields, I thought, should have been given a little bit more of a chance last year for Pittsburgh as he started off the year very strong. Some of it might have been the opposing teams and the opposing defenses they went up against. I don't know if it was sustainable for the whole year to run with Fields, but I would have at least loved to have seen it happen because I'm not a Russell Wilson guy after 2018 and 2019. That ship has sailed for me. I would have loved to have seen Justin Fields get more of an opportunity. We'll see what he does with the Jets. However, it is a little bit of a dysfunctional situation. Maybe Aaron Glenn will change that. We'll have to see. Don't mind that take at all. Tyler, best acquisition for you?
Yeah, for me, it's by far Laramie Tunsil
Okay.
going to the Commanders. It's so important to get guys that will die for your second-year quarterback. Laramie Tunsil is that. And, I mean, this is irrelevant to this point, but they also added Josh Connerly in the first round out of Oregon, the Commanders did. So they invested a lot in protecting Jaden Daniels. That's so important. Like, it's really hard to propel yourself to a Super Bowl caliber team without the right pass and run protection in place. And Laramie Tunsil gives the Commanders that. He's controllable. Now, like, I was going to say he's young. He's not young, but he's not old. Like, it's like once his contract, runs out, I think in 3 years, that's probably when you'll start to see him decline. So you're getting Tunsil at a really good time. When his contract's off the books, that's probably when Jaden Daniels is, gonna want an extension or something like that.
Yeah.
So from like a front office side, like an analytical side, it makes sense for the Commanders with their timeline, with who they're allocating their money to. And I think with offseason acquisitions, that is the most crucial category. It's not like, obviously you want a player to come in and be worth the money that you're giving him.
Yeah.
But you got to make the salary work. It's got to fit your timeline. That's very important financial wise. But for the player that Tunsil is, 5-time Pro Bowler, the Commanders sent a 2025 third and a 2025 seventh. Now, they gave up their 2026 second and a 2026 fourth, but they also got a 2025 fourth-round pick back, which I think was used on Jalen. No, it's not Jalen Lane. I have to double-check that, but we'll see if that fourth-round pick becomes anything. But what Laramie Tunsil provides is a guy that can be a swing blocker. He can get out in open space. He's fast. He's agile. He's protected very, very good quarterback. C.J. Stroud being one back in Miami. I mean, Miami didn't have anything going, but he was, putting his body on the line every day for, who was,
Tua.
I'm trying to think, like before Tua, who was their quarterback?
Who, Larry?
When he was on the Dolphins.
I mean, you're talking like Ryan Fitzpatrick territory
Yeah.
here.
I'm talking, like Ryan Tannehill times. Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. Crazy. But Laramie Tunsil is a guy that is a premier tackle, gives Jaden Daniels the proper protection that a young quarterback needs, especially to stay healthy. On top of that, he's controllable. He's an all-pro caliber guy. You gave up a lot to get him, but it will be worth it, especially when you have guys like Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Micah Parsons, maybe, coming off the edge trying to kill your quarterback.
That's a good point.
You got to have the enforcers in place, and Laramie Tunsil is that. Whatever you do, just don't search up Laramie Tunsil mask.
Well, there you go. He had a very, very big draft night full of fireworks, also full of some other type of smoke from the fireworks, maybe. But Tunsil was a great acquisition, one of my favorites as well. The Commanders are in this situation right now where you've got a rookie quarterback or a quarterback on a rookie deal. You've got money to spend. That's why they went and got the dump truck Deebo Samuel to come in town. That's why they can afford to add in a Laramie Tunsil. You're trying to put the best situation around your quarterback on a rookie deal to see, can this guy be our long-term option?
Right.
Before we've got to pay this guy the big bucks, and who knows what that contract will look like here in 2 years when he signs it, as that number continues to climb. But you've got to give him all the opportunity to be successful. Laremy Tunsil's a good way to do that. Re-signing Terry McLaurin would be a really good idea too.
They got to do it.
Which I think they have to do. We'll see if they end up doing it. Deebo Samuel doesn't move the needle for me, but it's kind of one of those Stephon Diggs type acquisitions for the Texans last year. You've got the money. Let's go and spend it. Let's bring in a veteran wide receiver that we can maybe throw in a couple different sets. So I do like what the Commanders have done. I do like the addition of Laremy Tunsil. Now, I could have gone like Joe Thuney here because I do think he's really valuable for the Bears.
That's
addition.
And that's a really big addition for them. Talking about an all-pro guy that is coming into a similar situation. Caleb Williams in year 2 needs a better offensive line, new offensive coordinator, new coach, and Ben Johnson. He's going to want to run a lot of different things. You need to have a line that is good enough to be able to support it. So I do like Joe Thuney. I think it's a little bit of a cop-out because that was one of the big ones of the offseason. I'm going to go with one that I believe will be really impactful for this team in the way they play. Going to be George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys.
Seriously.
Yes. Here's why. CeeDee Lamb is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But he's drawing a lot of attention. And he's going to draw a lot of the number one defenders from other teams. And he's still going to get his own. He can still go for 10 receptions, 120 yards against those top guys. But the problem is, last year the Cowboys didn't have another guy to get the ball to. Michael Gallup, are you kidding me? Talk about a guy that's...
No, he wasn't. He retired.
Or, I mean,
he came back.
Well, Michael Gallup, whoever, Brandon Cooks, whatever you want to make him. Talk about a guys, that are selling nachos. Tolbert. Guys that are not making any type of difference. That's what the Cowboys had last year. Is George Pickens a head case? Yes. But he's a really good player still. And now you've got a really good 1-2 duo. And when the Cowboys are good, it's when Dak Prescott can get down the field and can get it to his playmakers. When the Cowboys have struggled to find success, it's usually against the 49ers in the playoffs or
in the playoffs in general,
or against another good team. But what gets the Cowboys there is they are dominant against the bad teams on their schedule, and they win the games that they're supposed to in big-time fashion because they can get it out to CeeDee Lamb, and now having a true secondary wide receiver, they can really get this offense back in rhythm. I think it's all about spacing. That's why I love the addition. That's why I think it's impactful. We're talking about impactful offseason acquisitions. CeeDee Lamb's going to draw a lot of attention. Oh, no, we got to guard George Pickens on the other side as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that duo just because of what the Cowboys need. And that's a guy that Dak Prescott can zip it out to. I don't love the defense. I don't love their offensive line at this point. I think there are a lot of holes on this team. But one thing I do know is that night in and night out, they're going to have one of the best wide receiver rooms or wide receiver duos in the game. And I think that's going to be really difficult for opposing teams to go up against. Just the play style of the Cowboys is why I like the George Pickens acquisition. I know he's a head case. He'll, probably throw a tantrum or two, but it's a guy that can make plays and maybe not win you some games, but alongside CeeDee Lamb can win you some games. And they've got some chemistry I've been seeing. They've got some cool handshakes, some cool I like that. I like that. So maybe this is a change of scenery. The Big D has changed up George Pickens.
Pause. But yeah.
Pauses left, right, center, up, down.
Yeah, that's why I call it a T-ball hit right there. Anything to add, guys, on that?
No, I mean, I can actually get with that, though. I mean, for the Cowboys, I think they're envisioning you bring in George Pickens, somebody who is great at one-on-one situations. He's a 50-50 receiver for sure. Someone who can stretch the field more so and allow CD to work underneath, which I think it is his true bread and butter as a receiver. So, I actually like that as I've thought about it more and things like that. I actually do like that.
Maybe I convinced you a little bit. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
The first reaction was like, hold on,
wait.
Where's he going with this?
Yeah. So, okay. I can get with that, though. I like it.
One guy I'll mention real quick before the break, Sam Darnold. I wasn't a huge fan of him last year with Minnesota, but I do think it's a clear upgrade at quarterback for Seattle. Last year was a little bit of a disaster. Now, I do think Geno Smith can be good for the Raiders, but when Geno Smith went down and you had the Drew Locks and the Sam Howells of the world, that's when you think you're at a horror movie. I think Sam Darnold will be serviceable. I don't think he'll be able to be the level he was last year with O'Connell. But I do think that was a good acquisition for the Seahawks, especially if they're moving off of Geno Smith. There we go.
One quick player, too. Devontae Smith. Devontae Adams going to the Rams.
I think
that
that's
is
good,
going to do wonders for Puka Nacua, because Cooper Kupp is a great compliment to anyone. He's going to be a great compliment to Jackson Smith and Jigba up in Seattle. And he was a great compliment to Puka Nacua in his first 2 seasons. But that's a slot guy. That's not a burner. That's not a 50-50 guy. That's a guy that just pieces up zone coverage. But when you're in man, because you can try to play zone against Puka, but he'll find it. So then you're like, all right, maybe we'll go man, cover 2 man. What side are you going to shade? Are you going to say shade on Puka's side? Or are you going to shade a little bit more on Devontae Adams' side? What if you try and send a blitz and you go cover 1? You're just going to leave both those guys on an island?
Yeah.
Puka Nacua is going to benefit so much from this, and I'm even considering taking him 10th overall in my Superflex Dynasty League draft on Sunday. Puka is going to have one hell of a season, and it's similar to the George Pickens thing, where Pickens is going to make CeeDee's job easier.
Yeah. Okay.
Devontae Adams is going to make Puka's life easier, and Puka's going to make his life easier.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, it's our final thoughts on a Thursday edition of Overtime presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
Catch up with all things Fan Run by subscribing to our podcast feed. Like, rate, and download the show from the Fan Run app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Knoxville. Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside, or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the Volunteer State. Smoked daily by pitmaster Mark Rickard. The barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134. For directions and to look at the rest of the menu, visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
This is Coach Josh Heupel. In football and life, you need a solid defense to protect what matters most. That's where Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee comes in. Score peace of mind with Farm Bureau Insurance, the official insurance of the Vols. They're your line of defense. FBITN.com.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance of the Tennessee Vols. I'm here to be that line of defense for all your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871 and go Vols.
White Claw is taking hard seltzer to new heights with White Claw Surge. At 8% alcohol, White Claw Surge is a stronger wave of refreshment that doesn't compromise on taste. Available in 4 bold waves of flavor like ripe blackberry, citrusy blood orange, zesty natural lime, and tart cranberry. Check out your favorite retailer in-store and online for the White Claw Surge Variety 12-pack and 16-ounce single-serve cans. White Claw Surge. Please drink responsibly.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Yeah, buddy, Roll it like a big shot. Escalade, tuned up, NASCAR pit stop. Diamonds in my mouth. I don't even need a wristwatch saying that you got it. You can fuck around and get got it. Stretch it, lean out like a ballerina. I be looking for money like how you saying I got a mouth full of water like how to land.
All right, final thoughts on this Thursday edition of OT. Appreciate you hanging out with us. You know, yesterday we got into a spirited discussion about traffic for our final thoughts. That was fun. Today, I don't really.
I got something.
I don't really have anything on my mind specifically today, other than Hugh Freeze was cussing out Jackson Arnold earlier in practice. Doesn't look like things are going particularly well in Auburn. That video was deleted by the media after it got leaked out. But I don't have anything pressing today. So if someone wants to present something for our final thoughts, I'll listen to any options. Tyler, you raised your hand like we're in class. What do you have to say?
Well, I usually always raise my hand to you just to, try and signal you down. Because sometimes, William, you're a hard guy to reach. But
Tyler, we're in two different rooms across from each other. We can see each other.
Yeah, but I just want to hit you with like a...
What do you mean I'm hard to reach? We're right here. Hey, you got 2 minutes, so make it quick.
Roller coasters, overrated or underrated? I had this conversation with my roommates.
Well, that's not a bad final thoughts. I do like that, Tyler.
Thank you.
Like, hold on, elaborate.
What are your thoughts on roller coasters? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you think
that's a better way to pay it? That's a better way to put it.
Do you think amongst the public eye, people overrate them or underrate them?
Let's just answer the first part of that question.
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit easier.
I like roller coasters. Yeah, I mean it's fun.
Well, I'll expand on this and I'll give you a better answer than that question deserved. But they are a lot of fun. I actually talked about this early in the week. I go on the Chase on Mondays with Chase Thomas. That's 1 to 3 here on Fan Run Radio. Make sure you go check that out. But for some reason, we were talking about Dollywood. Okay. And a couple of years ago, I've lived in Knoxville the last 3 summers. And it was my friend's 21st. We were both living in Knoxville. He was like, let's go do something fun. It was a Saturday. We went to Dollywood.
Sure.
I have never liked roller coasters. Growing up, I would never do the big ones. We'd go to Disney World. I'd never do the Mount Everest or anything like that. It was just too much for me. And I told him, I was like, look, I'll go, but I'm not going to do the big one. I'm not going to do the big rides. And he's like, all right, that's fine. So we get there, we do one of them. I don't know if you guys been to Dollywood or not, but they've got Blazing Fury, which is that first one, that dark one.
Yeah, that was cool.
Very low key. The one right next to it's Tennessee Tornado.
Yeah, Tennessee Tornado.
That one's nuts.
Well,
I like that
so
one.
we did Blazing Fury first. The second one we did was Tennessee Tornado, but I didn't know any better. I told myself, I'm not going to look at the stats on this thing. I'm just going to get on it. I'm not going to look it up. And Sam was like, no, man, it's all good. This is an easy. Like, you'd be good. So we get locked in and then we start going down the track and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're about to do like 3 flips.
Yep.
And then, we were in and out of there in like 40 seconds. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I couldn't tell if I was mad or like, wow, that wasn't that bad.
You see, because that's what it is for me. It's just like kind of like, what's your niche on roller coasters? Like, for the Blazing Fury, it's a good one, but it's not like the Tennessee Tornado. For me, I just like roller coasters, period. I mean, you can give me all the flips, the loops, and everything else that you want, and I'm having a blast.
So I'll say after we did Tennessee Tornado, I ended up doing all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great time. I did the Eagle, all of them, and now I'm a roller coaster guy. So, folks, if you're out there and you're not sure if you like tornadoes or not tornadoes, not sure if you like roller coasters or not, just give it a little shot. Go on there. Don't look at the stats. That's what I'm a stats guy, right? I always look at the numbers. A couple of those ones driving up there, I was like, I'm not doing this thing. I'm not driving with a G-force of, all that crap. Just don't look at the stats. Go on there, have a good time, make it up for yourself. And if you like it, you'll like it.
Can I give my quick thought on roller coasters in 20 seconds?
We got to switch it over to the next show, Tyler, unfortunately.
I like roller coasters.
There we go. Tyler gives his take. All right, for Tyler Barbaras, Jeremy Inslee, I'm William Pattison. We appreciate you listening to us on Overtime, presented by VIP Play. Coming up next, it's More Important Issues right here on Fan Run Radio.
Know, are you dressed?
Check out our new and improved website at fanrunradio.com.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Ever been the coach who realized the team's gear just wasn't up to par? Well, if I'm being honest,